This is Change Your Mindset Podcast, the podcast that helps change your life by helping change the mindset of the 99% into the 1% mindset. Here's your host, Adrian Gomez.
Welcome back to another podcast episode of Change Your Mindset. As always, I'm your host, Adrian Gomez. 15 assets that wealthy people buy that makes them rich. So the first one is cash. Biggest companies, such as Apple, has $200 billion in cash reserves. Why cash? Why is cash a good asset? Depending on how you use it. So number one, being able to access an opportunity that presents itself. For example, let's just say someone needs money fast. They're going through financial troubles and they have a nice luxury car. Let's just say a Ferrari. Let's say they are selling the car for $50,000 and they need the money because they're going through financial troubles. So if you do not have $50,000 in cash and you know that car is worth more than six figures and you begin a bargain, a deal, but you just don't have the money. You need cash for situations like this, whether it's businesses going bankrupt or a house that's going to be foreclosed going for a low rate. You want money to buy assets at a good price, especially during bad financial times, because that's when people will sell things cheap because they need money, because they are struggling financially. So they will give you a good deal for quick cash. Number two, you can get high returns straight from cash deals. Example, when you lend people money and they pay you back in interest, such as peer-to-peer lending, which average 7 to as high as 15 to 20%. Always remember, if something is too good to be true, it probably is. Number two, that makes wealthy people rich. Real estate. Example is rent. If you own a home and you're renting it out, those people staying in your home are going to pay rent. And they're paying you money to live in your property. And every month, you will be making income off that house. Another thing with real estate is appreciation. Houses fluctuate up and down. But in the long term, houses always go up. So that's why they are one of the greatest investments and assets that rich people have. So I'm going to give you some examples of real estate. So one is residential buildings. People live in your properties and you pay rent. Number two, office buildings. People work in your property and pay you rent. Number three, commercial buildings. Businesses use your space to sell stuff and pay you rent. Number four, land, which can be cultivated, developed, or even left as is for appreciation. And if you live in a house, it's not an asset, it's a liability. Because that house is not providing you any type of income. You're actually putting money into that house. So you're actually losing money instead of gaining money if you own a house and live in it. Number three is bonds. So those of you that don't know what a bond is, a bond is a loan from an investor to a borrower, such as a company or government. The borrower uses the money to fund its operations and the investor receives interest on their investment. The market value of a bond can change over time. Bonds are usually low risk. And when they're low risk in businesses, that translates to low rewards as well. Bonds average 3% yearly return. So how do people buy bonds? People buy bonds directly from the Treasury Department or a brokerage firm. Number four, stocks. Stocks are an easy way for you to own a percent of a publicly traded business. If you buy stock in Apple, Disney, or Starbucks, you technically own part of that business. So when that business does good, the stock goes up, so you make money if you decide to sell it. And some stocks pay you dividends if you hold that stock quarterly. But if that business does bad, that stock will go down, and if you decide to sell it, you will lose money. And the more shares you own in the business, the higher percentage you own in the business. For example, if a business has 100 shares, you purchase 10 of them, you own 10% of that business. And stocks are very common for people to purchase. Number 5, mutual and index funds. So the reason why these are so popular is because there are multiple companies together. It's a basket of companies. So for stocks, you purchase one. For funds, you are purchasing multiple companies as a whole. You're more diverse, and it's usually a safer investment. Index funds are the best performing class. The top 5 popular index funds are, and these are in no specific order, are Fidelity Zero Large Cap Index, Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, SPDR S&P 500 ETF Trust, iShares Core S&P 500 ETF, and Schwab S&P 500 Index Fund. The average annualized total return for the S&P 500 index over the past 90 years is 9.8%. So moving on to the next one. Number 6, equipment. Anything that generates money for you or helps you make money faster. So for examples of this is, let's say for a farmer. A farmer's equipment would be a tractor. Let's say for a programmer's equipment will be their laptop. And let's say for Uber driver, their equipment would be their car. And some people get this mixed up. When you have a laptop, it's not your equipment if it's not generating money, if it's not part of your work, and you're just using it to go on social media or just YouTube videos, anything like that. It's not a equipment. Same thing with a car. If you're using a car to go get food, just to hang out with people, go do hobbies or errands, and it's not producing you any money or income for your job or your business, that is not equipment. That's more of a liability than equipment. Number 7, patents. When you invent something new, you can protect it using a patent. It's a document that certifies you as the inventor and describes in detail what your invention does. And companies would have to pay you money to use your invention. And if they don't, you get to sue them. Number 8, trademarks. Trademarks protect your words or phrases. You can license your trademarks for people to use it, and they pay you in return. Number 9, brand and goodwill. So the biggest brands out there, whatever it is, have people that work for them. And if a brand takes care of their people, the people will take care of the brand and will protect that brand at any cost. Which this one leads into number 10, people. People are the ones who make the business run. People who are employees are the ones that make the business money. So if you have good people, hard workers, and employees, that business will make a lot of money. If you had bad workers, bad employees who don't care about the business, or who are poor performers, that business will go out of business. That's why it's very crucial when businesses hire people, because they can make or break their company. As well as employees, they can give your business good reviews or bad reviews based on how they treat their customers. So the people that are inside your business or company are crucial because they play a big factor whether your business will succeed or not. Number 11, raw materials and commodities. The classic buy cheap, sell high demand. Examples of this is currency, oil, gold, crypto, luxury cars, and art. Over 15 years, price of gold has gone up to 278%. The last 20 years, art has outperformed the S&P 500. That's why you see rich people spend crazy amounts in art, because the value always goes up and it continues to keep going up. Because paintings like this, they don't make more of them. Certain artists are either deceased or just don't paint anymore, and they're not making any more of these paintings. Moving on to number 12. Books, songs, digital courses, information, or content. When you write a book, you only write it once. And once you release a book, it produces you passive income because you already did the hard work up front. And now all that's happening is people buying your book. So rich people write books all the time because they do the work once and they have passive income for the rest of their lives. Same thing with digital courses that involves information or content. You make it once and it's pretty much there forever. People can watch it, people can purchase it, whatever it is, it's there forever. It's one and done, and it creates a true passive income because you don't have to do any more work after you're done with the first time. And that's why you always see celebrities, influencers, successful people do all these books, digital courses based off information or content. Same thing with songs. People make a song one time and they have the copyright to it. So you can't play their song unless without their consent, and you have to pay them to use their song. And that lasts forever. Another form of passive income. And this leads into number 13, royalties. Royalty payments are funds paid to owners through a royalty agreement for rights to publish or use copyrighted writing, music, movies, other intellectual properties, like patents or types of tangible property, like oil and gas, land for drilling rights. And if you're wondering how do you earn royalties, basically the owner of valuable trademarks can receive royalties for licensing the use of their logos and brand names. Composers of songs can get royalty payments for each time the composition is publicly performed, streamed, downloaded, played on the radio, used for a film or TV score, or sold as a CD or record. And this is what I talk about, doing it once and you get paid forever. Number 14, unique rights. Certain institutions have advantages over other businesses, such as the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, which gives Indian natives the rights to have casinos in their areas. I'm sure you heard of Morongo, Pachanga, casinos like that. Another institution is churches. Reason for that is because churches do not pay any taxes, so they have a advantage over other businesses that actually have to pay taxes. This one's for a small majority, but it technically is an asset for these unique rights. Last but not least, number 15, first mover advantage and proprietary business models. Whenever you innovate in a commercial manner, this innovation is regarded as an asset. The App Store by Apple is one of these innovations. The microtransactions and games are a new bogus business model. Another one is Netflix. How they went from sending you a physical DVD to now you can just stream on their app. It gave them the edge to capture market share for a couple years until eventually everyone else caught up. Now there's so many different streaming devices. Same thing with music. You used to purchase physical albums, then it went to you purchase certain songs, and now you purchase Spotify, Pandora, YouTube Premium for unlimited access for songs, as well as Airbnb that's disrupted the hotel business with a new way to rent short-term accommodations. So your job is, now that I give you 15 assets that keep wealthy people rich or that can make you personally rich. You now have opportunities to pick one and master one or master a couple to create wealth. It's up to you. No one's going to do it for you. And I'll leave you with a bonus one. Number 16. Time, money, time, arbitrage. Look, I get it. Not everyone has money. Some people struggle with money. But at certain points, and this is not going to be forever, you're going to have to use your time to generate money. And then use the money to buy other people's time. That is what wealthy, rich people do. That's how they usually start off. You have to put in the work at the beginning. When you have no money, you have to exchange the money for time because you have no money. And then, when you put in all the time, and you start accumulating all the money, that's when you use that money to buy time, to get your time back, by using others people's time, which ends up being employees. And that's how business works, whether you like it or not. If you currently have a job or you're an employee, you are exchanging your time for money. And the CEO, owner, founder, whoever it is, they have their time back because they're using their money to get their time back by paying you for your time. That's how the system works. Whether you like it or not, that's how business works. Now that you know, you can do something about it, or you can continue your job and keep spending your time for money. Choice is yours. Your decision, your life. That's going to be it for this podcast. As always, I appreciate you guys taking your time out of your valuable day to listen to these podcast episodes. As always, thank you, Patron member Blade262, for supporting the podcast and being a Patreon member. If you have questions, comments, or an idea for a future podcast episode, you can do that by being a Patreon member and a link in the description below. Thank you guys as always. I wish you the best, and please subscribe, share, like the podcast, because it helps the algorithm reach more people. Thank you guys again. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Change Your Mindset podcast. Be sure to tune in every week for a new episode. As always, change your mindset to change your life.